and welcome to this video that will walk you through the application of your product. When you want to strengthen or extend your natural nails, it's important for good durability that the shape of the nail is built correctly. Imagine the nail as a bridge. For it to withstand the weight, it needs strong points. It must handle the load that will drive over it. Same for the nail, otherwise it'll break a little or the product will slip off in a pretty short time. To get a full rundown of the theory behind nail construction, it's a good idea to read the section in the theory book about construction. But to summarize it briefly, there are 3 rules of thumb that are particularly important. First of all, the nail needs to be shaped so that it has a smooth curve from cuticle to nail tip. And the highest point on this curve is called the apex, which is what we refer to as the nail's strength point. Apex ensures that it is capable of handling all the everyday bumps, hits, and strains without breaking down. It's important that you focus on making a nice curve with the apex and ensuring your nail has strength. Secondly, it's important to focus on filing the undersides of the nail, those lower arches, to file them evenly so they can support the nail and withstand impact. The undersides of the nail must not be curved. They must also not have a bend or point up or down. We should ideally file horizontally along with the natural nail to provide the best balance for the nail. Thirdly, it's important to evenly place the product across the entire nail. There shouldn't be a collection of products on one side but not on the right side. And there shouldn't be a bunch of product on the tip of the nail but not so much on the actual nail bed. As a rule of thumb, there should be a minimum of 1 mm of product over the entire nail to ensure a balanced build-up. And of course there should be a bit more there, where apex is and makes a bid. So please be extra careful to ensure there is enough on the sides of the nail, because that's usually where you end up making the nail too thin. That actually causes the nail to break, usually right where the natural nail separates from the skin and becomes a free edge. To prevent that, it's vital for a satisfactory and long-lasting outcome that you're comfortable following our instructions and take care to perform all steps accurately. If unsure or need guidance, don't hesitate to contact us for help along the way. We're here to assist you. Have an amazing and unforgettable time filled with joy, excitement, and happiness. Make the most of every moment and create cherished memories that will last a lifetime. Enjoy yourself to the fullest and have a blast. The first thing you got to do when you're going to extend with Polygel bin templates is to do an efficient prep. I've already done my prep. If you want to see how to do an efficient prep, you can look it up in the theory book under the section about prep, or check out our video guide on prep. The subsequent action you need to take is to prepare your brush. This can be accomplished by utilizing your dab dash with some cleaner, a wipe, and naturally, your brush. All you have to do is simply expose it and then gently wipe it off on the sides in a careful manner, ensuring a thorough cleaning. Just remove the extra liquid by wiping it off, ensuring no excess remains on your wipe after dipping. Now the brush is ready for immediate use. When you need to extend with the template, the most important thing is that you get the template set up completely correctly. I will demonstrate to you how to accomplish that here. If we initiate by examining our templates, they frequently have a very dissimilar appearance. This here is our standard template, which comes with our starter packs. Next, we take our cuticle clipper and just split it right down the middle up here. When we've split it in half, then, is it a good idea to simply separate the ends? In order to avoid them adhering to your fingers, so that they do not stick. Afterward, we proceed by placing the template on top, ensuring proper alignment and accuracy. To begin with, we're focused on making sure that the template goes all the way under our natural nail, so that it kind of fits in and hits where the natural nail is located. Meets the skin. When it is securely in place there, we have the ability to simply squeeze it together from the end without any difficulty or complications. It's super important that the ends meet each other precisely and that we get it set up exactly straight, because this template is supposed to form the actual curve on the extension, and if they're not aligned properly, it can become crooked. Currently, it is positioned in this manner. In the event that I invert my fingernail, you will be able to observe that there exists a rather sizable space between the template and my actual nail. It's important that there isn't this gap between the template and the natural nail, because otherwise the product will accumulate. When you commence extending, the product will gather down in this area and undergo a transformation, ultimately turning into a substantial mess. Not going to be good. We need to customize the template to fit snugly against the natural nail. To start with, we accomplish this by flipping the nail over and carefully observing it from the top perspective. When observing the nail from an overhead perspective, our primary concern is to ensure that the template is positioned in a straight manner. So like the center portion of my natural nail also lines up with the center portion of the template, ensuring proper alignment during the process. I think it does here. So I will grab my cuticle scissors again, and then I just have to make room for the skin that is sitting out here on the side of my finger. As a result of the skin on the outside exerting pressure on the sides of the template, it also causes the template to become flatter compared to the curve on my natural nail. So what I do is I take my trusty cuticle scissors and carefully clip right at the point where my natural nail starts to separate from the delicate skin surrounding it, ensuring a clean and precise cut. There you go. And we do the same on the other side. Of course, you have to be careful not to cut into the skin. You can also just take the template off and just remember where the nail hit, and then cut there. It is up to your own judgment to decide what you believe is the most advantageous course of action for yourself. Now we have established airspace, or created room for the skin on the sides of the nail. And what we are going to do at this particular moment is initiate the process of shaping this template that we currently have in our possession, and simply press it up underneath the nail. Therefore, due to its slightly crooked position and the presence of a significant gap, we are now able to immediately begin pinching it underneath the finger on the side, so that we can model it under the natural neck to increase accuracy. It also gets trapped up in this specific location. These flaps are designed to help keep it securely in place and prevent it from falling off or moving too much, ensuring stability and minimizing the risk of displacement. However, when I have been experimenting with the template and trying to push it as far as possible under the nail, and striving to get it tightly around the natural nail, we can clearly see here that it fits completely snugly to the natural one, without any gaps or looseness. An ideal method this template is placed on, for us to obtain a neat nail, where the underside also rests. Provides support for the strong points of the nail. I perform the same action on the remaining 4 nails. Once we have implemented our templates, it is time to apply the base coat layer. The base coat should be applied in a pretty thin layer, and only on the natural nail, not on the template. It is simply a piece of advice to apply base coat prior to putting on templates, because there is a rather good probability that you will ultimately end up touching the nail when putting on the templates. So that's why you do it afterwards. But I actually apply a very thin layer of base coat, or I scrape brush hairs off on the sides of the bottle and pick up a tiny little bead of base coat and push it into the nail. I actually start by placing it in the middle of the nail, close to the cuticle, and then I physically apply pressure in the opposite direction, as close to the cuticle as I am able to, sometimes achieving a remarkably close proximity, without making any form of contact with either the cuticle or the hoof area. And as mentioned, I just slap on the base coat, instead of applying it with normal brush strokes. And I do that because the base coat is the layer that needs to adhere or ensure that the entire product adheres to the natural heritage. So when you thoroughly rub the base coat in, you ensure that the base coat penetrates into all the nooks and crannies I was just about to mention, in the crevices, cracks, and tiny creases. If there happens to be an excessive amount of base coat, you can simply use the brush to easily scrape it off and remove the excess. Apply in thick layer only, as I said, a thick layer. And I perform the same action on the remaining 4 nails in the same manner. When base coat applied to all 5 nails, they just need 1 minute under lamp. Once the base coat has finished curing for a minute, a noticeable bump will be present in the center of the nail. Sticking to Doctors is a pretty thin, sticky layer. Don't remove it, it's completely normal. This plugin for Doctors is designed for the next layer to adhere extra well to the base coat. So just let it be as is. Once you've applied the base coat and cured it for a minute, you're ready to move on. After you've applied the base coat, the first thing you gotta do is build up the neck extension. I'm gonna build the extension using our Polygel Milky Pink. Polygel is a pretty solid mass, which means that in order to shape it around, you'll need some cleaner liquid. So I have everything prepared and arranged here in a short amount of time in a little jiffy. To initiate, I will acquire my Polygel spatula. The foremost aspect to concentrate on is simply constructing the nail extension, underscoring the significance of this initial step in the procedure. You have the option, if you desire, to apply additional product and then construct the entire nail in one step. However, as a beginner, it is safest to do it by starting with the extension. And that is the entirety of it, because in doing so, you can be certain that your product makes contact with your natural nails and does not detach or come off. Located directly beneath the nail, positioned between the cuticle and the nail in the first place or initial location. So we begin here by demonstrating the method in which you construct the extension initially. To have the opportunity to play around with this polygel, as I mentioned earlier, I need a cleaner. So I have dipped my brush lightly in the cleaner and gently wiped it off on our lint-free wipe, ensuring that it doesn't overflow with cleaner. And then, in fact, I gently dab our polygel around to be precise. What I am making sure of in this situation is that the gel polish comes into contact with my natural nail and also gets built up on the nail form at the same time. This ensures proper adhesion and a strong bond between the gel polish and my nails. It is important to achieve this dual action for optimal results and long-lasting wear. My nail here has also acquired a small nick on the side, so I am constructing it slightly lower in this area than I would on the opposite side. And I possess the capability to effortlessly shape the product precisely the way I desire it, with complete control over its form, structure, and design. I have now made a nice extension of the nail. I actually think this nail has become a bit too long compared to how I want it, so I can advantageously take my acrylic gel spatula and just remove the product that I don't want anyway. That's what makes Holy Gel so nice to work with. You can simply remove the excess gel and achieve the desired length effortlessly, without any hassle or discomfort. Thanks to the user-friendly nature of Holy Gel, it truly enhances the nail extension experience and allows for precise customization. Take all the time you need to carefully construct and shape the nail, ensuring it is absolutely perfect in every way imaginable. Once the nails have been exposed to the lamp's light for a duration of 60 seconds, it is the appropriate time to carefully remove these templates from the nails, ensuring a smooth and flawless finish. You can achieve this by carefully and gradually loosening them in a gentle manner, ensuring not to apply excessive force or pressure. And then, with a gentle touch, press down softly on the sides of the template, being careful not to apply too much force. The template will then loosen up. We are currently prepared to begin constructing the shape of the nail using our polygel substance. We do it nearly the same way as when we made the extension. We are squeezing out a small gem of polygel, On this occasion, we absolutely have to guarantee that we have a sufficient quantity of product to completely cover the entire nail, encompassing the brand new extension. So I position the bead at a point that is roughly halfway along the nail, slightly above the cuticle area of the nail. I submerge my brushing cleaner and give it a swift wipe using our wipe that is free from nuclear materials, so that it does not drip with cleaner and remains clean and ready for use. And then I simply shape the nail. I commence by gently pushing the cuticle gel downwards towards the cuticle area, ensuring that we achieve a nice and smooth transition from the natural nail to the outer edge. This helps us to create a polished and flawless look, enhancing the overall appearance of the nail. Doctor's housing aid. If you have a small amount of polygel on your skin or in close proximity to your skin, you can easily scrape it off using a cuticle stick or a similar tool specifically designed for this purpose. Of course, it's crucial that you never hit the skin, and if you do, promptly remove the product. I have now established the foundation for the shape of the nail. It does not have to be flawless, because in a brief period of time we will file it down and make the apex stand out even more, thereby highlighting the strong points of the shape or the nail. Furthermore, we can shape the form from its starting point. However, I'll proceed with the remaining 4 nails before we can move on to the case, once this step is finished. Gonna start filing the shape now to perfect the structure, but before that we gotta clean off the sticky layer, like poking doctors with cleaner. I just apply cleaner to my lint-free wipe, wiping off the sticky layer to ensure thorough removal of any residue or buildup. When the nails are free from stitches, we need to start shaping them with a file. You can do that with a manual file, for example, our 180 grit nail file. You can also combine both a manual nail file and an electric nail file. Manual nail file is typically very effective at performing the groundwork, to file these lower arches, as it is commonly referred to, which means the sides of the nail. However, the electric nail file is excellent at removing larger amounts of cuticle. Before I start filing my nails properly, I'll just grab our dust collector so that dust doesn't go everywhere. But what I'm going to do in a bit is essentially just ensuring that I file my nails so that we achieve this nice rounded arch that is necessary for the strong points of the nail and also to highlight the apex. And of course also in such a way that we create exactly the shape we want on a nail. Filed shape to meet and has made the apex and the strength points of the nail stand out. I'm happy with how the length of my nails is and how my nails look overall. So the final task I need to accomplish at this moment is to clean using a cleaner, in order to ensure that we are fully prepared to apply the gel polish. We are now ready to move on to the next step. We are about to apply gel polish to our extensions now. Before we apply the gel polish, we just need to mix the color pigments. They have the ability to sink to the bottom. We achieve this by shaking the bottle between our two hands. The reason we shake the bottle, or hold the bottle between two hands and refrain from shaking it, is that air bubbles can potentially form if you shake it vigorously. Certainly, we would prefer to prevent that from happening. Therefore, once you have blended the color, it is essential to actually utilize the gel polish in relatively thin layers. So I will simply scrape the brush bristles off on the inside of the bottle. So I will carefully take a small gemstone. I put some product on my brush, place it in the middle of the nail, a little bit up around the cuticle. Then I apply a gentle pressure with my brush so the bristles spread out. And then I push the gel polish color towards the cuticle, as close as I can get without touching the cuticle. Fold it in half and make sure to remember to seal the open edge securely at the end. No need to seal the edge when dealing with an extension, as the natural nail doesn't touch the product, but it looks better when you do. Color on the tip of the nail, so it's recommended to seal the free edge for a polished appearance. It is also a valuable tip when applying color to ensure that you position the brush correctly. Instead of having the brush like a T on top of the nail, where you actually just end up scraping off the color, hold it horizontally with the nail so that you flow the color on. It simply provides a layer that is much nicer in terms of appearance and texture. In the event that you happen to make contact with the skin, you have the option to utilize a rose stick, or, for example, our microwipe sticks along with some cleaner, to effectively remove any substances that have come off to the side. Of course, it's important to do everything you can to try to avoid it. If you get something on your skin, this is a really good help to get it off right away. If you desire to attain a closer application of your gel polish color to the cuticle, but are encountering some difficulty using the brush included in the bottle, you have the option to employ an art brush, which is a thin brush, to delicately push the color a bit further up towards the cuticle without jeopardizing the skin, thus achieving a more precise and refined result. It's also crucial that you apply these layers thinly. If the color isn't fully opaque from the first coat, it's not a problem. It should be fully covered with a second coat. A good rule of thumb is that if it flows into the cuticle or moves from where you placed it, then you have applied a layer that is too thick. Apply thin layers, that way you'll get the best result. Now I'll continue the same procedure on the remaining 4 nails. Once you're content with your first gel polish coat, it just needs 1 minute under the lamp. When the first coat is under the lamp for 1 minute, there will be a tacky layer on the color, like a sticky layer. It's normal, and it must not be removed. It ensures that the next layer can adhere better. You're ready to move on. Now we are going to apply a second coat of gel polish, and we do it in exactly the same manner and technique as we applied the first coat. So I scrape the brush on the edge of the bottle, pick up a small bead of the product, place the bead in the middle of the nail close to the cuticle, and push the color down as close to the cuticle as I can without hitting it. Now, I brush out to both sides. I navigate the unrestricted boundary, sailing along the free edge, and make sure that the entire surface of the nail is evenly covered with the coating, ensuring a smooth and flawless finish. I perform the same action with the remaining 4 nails. When satisfied with second coat, they just need a min under lamp. When a different color is in the lamp for a min, it also has a sticky layer, meaning it sticks to the doctors and must not be removed. We can proceed to the next step. Now we are going to apply our top coat. Our top coat is a no-wipe top coat, which means that it does not have a sticky layer after it has been cured in the lamp. Therefore, there is no need to wipe afterwards. That is the reason why it is called no-wipe. The top cards simply need to be applied in the same manner as we just applied both of our day colors to ensure consistent results. We approach the cuticle on the edge without actually touching it, getting incredibly close to it without making any contact with the cuticle itself. Ensure there is top coat applied all over the entire nail surface, and also seal the free edge with the top coat to provide added protection. The highest cards serve as a protective layer against the color. So there are no misalignments, and so there are no scratches and like that, so it always appears completely shiny, sparkling and nice, without any imperfections, blemishes or flaws. Therefore, it is crucial to ensure that there is a top coat applied uniformly across the entire surface. It is imperative that we adhere to each of the 5 rules without exception. After applying top coat to all nails, it just needs a minute under the lamp. When they've had a minute under the lamp, as I said, there's no sticky layer on the top coat because it's a no wipe, so they're ready for the next step right away. The final thing we need to do is wash our hands. I have already been outside and washed my hands. And then we are going to apply some nail oil. For proper nail care, it is important to apply nail oil to both the areas around the cuticles and underneath the nail. It is extremely important to apply nail oil because it helps to contribute to the health and strength of the nails. You can imagine that the nail is a bit like a branch. If it's completely dry, it breaks super easily. However, if the material contains a significant amount of moisture, it will easily bend instead of snapping when you attempt to break it. The same principle applies to the nail, and it is therefore imperative that you consistently ensure to use oil and generally maintain the care and well-being of your nails. It's also a good idea to finish your nail treatment with a nice hand cream. Extended with Polygel, the nail looks like this now.